I saw a video where a guy was talking about all the tires all over the road, right? All the shredded commercial tires, the semi-truck tires all over the road. They're like all over the freeway. They're up and down interstates, and there's just seems like there's more and more and more of them. There's more than likely there's going to be one of two reasons, and I think it's probably the first reason, or it's probably the second reason, not the first reason. First reason could be that the highway departments just don't want to spend the money or the time and the resources to go out there and pick all that stuff up and then go throw it away. That's possibly one. It's probably number two. Number two is that, well, let's be real. Let me talk to you about the trucking world, how this breaks down. There's a term called drop and hook. Drop and hook, for those of you who don't know, means that you have your power unit, which is your truck, your cab, the vehicle that pulls the trailer. And then you go to a location and you pick up a trailer. And you take that trailer from A to B, and then you just drop it off. And then while you're there at location B, there's another trailer to pick up, and then you hook it up and leave and go to location C. And so on and on and on, right? That's called drop and hook. Well, that means that each time you go to these places to do drop and hooks, which sound really easy, and they are, right? It's not as easy as owning your own trailer, but it's definitely easy. That means that each time you do that, you're getting a new trailer, and it's not new, right? It's usually old and abused, and you're supposed to go out there and look at that trailer condition. Here's the problem. Those of us who actually know what we're doing, we go look at the trailer and we go, wow, those tires are bald. Not only are they bald, but they've got cords showing through them. Or we hook up to the trailer and we're pulling it down the street and it's crooked because it's completely out of alignment. The tandem's totally out of alignment, which means it's shredding those tires as you go. You ever see those where they're all dog-legged out? That's not because of the wind. That's because the trailer is out of alignment. So it can be doubles, it can be the wind, and sometimes if there's a really, really strong crosswind, it can blow the trailer off, do what's called off-tracking. But if it's just driving that in normal conditions, it's because it's out of alignment, so it's shredding the tires, all 8 of them, as you drive down the road, because your tandem's tilted. So here's the problem. If guys point that out to a company, they say, hey, I'm here, and I'm picking up this trailer, and there's a bunch of bald tires on this. What do you want me to do? Here's what's going to happen. The company's going to go, oh, wow, that's really a bummer. Well, look, you can either take the load or you can take the trailer down to the TNA and get in line. Now, this is all in your time, by the way. This is all coming off of your clock to do this. And, of course, when you get to the TNA doesn't have usually the most highly trained, best experienced guys, because they can't afford those guys. So what they have are guys that are on their phone all day long looking up how to do stuff because they don't know how to do it. And I'm not picking on guys. I'm stating this as a fact. This is what happens. And then they say, okay, well, and then when you get to the TNA, they say, okay, great, yeah, hey, get in line. What's your phone number? We'll call you when we're ready. I'm short-handed today, probably 6 to 8 hours. So as a truck driver, you are now going to sit at a TNA for 6 to 8 hours, meaning basically overnight. That's what that actually means, because your clock's completely gone after that. Your clock's cooked. So meaning that you're going to be there overnight now. And then you're going to pull the trailer in, and then they're going to do the tires, and then, of course, they take forever. These are not pit crews to do this, okay? It's usually one guy who does all this. And they put the tires on there and then send you down the road. Do you really think that the people that they're importing into the country right now care about that? Because I know the answer. Because the 15 other guys who had, because see, trailer tires don't just go bald and have cord showing. That's a long period of time that happened for. That went on for a long time. That went on for probably weeks, if not months, before they finally wore down to that. And that's what ends up happening. So no, the guys show up, they don't even bother to look at it. They just hook up the air and go. Many of them don't even test if the brakes work. I've seen guys driving down the street, the brake lights don't even work. I know they didn't even pre-treat the trailer because the brake lights don't even work. So, you know, and these are the guys that are going down the hill setting the brakes on fire. I've seen that too. So this is just what happens in the industry. On top of that, you have companies that are just putting recaps on trailers. Now, you can run recaps. There's nothing wrong with recaps, but you have to monitor them. And especially now, of course, and I've seen companies doing this. If you're putting recaps on a split tandem, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, absolutely not. Those are absolutely going to be shredded. You won't get probably even 6 months out of those. But I'm not trying to be like hyper technical. I'm just telling you, like, this is just how it is. This is what's causing a lot of this. You've got a lot of smaller companies that can't afford new tires, so they're just putting recaps on them because each recap is about $100 to sometimes $200 cheaper, or they're putting used tires on them, and they're hoping they get another 5 or 6 loads out of it before they have to swap it out and put another set of tires on it. Like, it's getting that bad because a lot of companies can't survive anymore because the rates are they're so far down that they can't even make. This is why you're also seeing so many trucks on the side of the road now. You ever notice that? I don't know if you notice that either, but you're seeing lots of trucks on the side of the road. Like, what's up with that? Like, why are there so many? It's because these companies can't afford to even maintain these trucks anymore. That's how low the freight rates are. They can't even run the company properly anymore, which is why many of them, the smaller ones, are going out of business. The bigger ones are sticking around because they're subsidized. They're getting sweetheart loans and special deals and things like that. And they can, and of course, the ones that are around that have the stickers on the side of the truck, not the stickers, but like the duct tape DOT numbers kind of thing, that's because those are illegals in many cases, and H-1Bs, people that are just, whatever. The non-domiciled CDLs, okay, those are one of it's the story of where there's like 10,000 freight companies located at one apartment address in California. That's where that comes from. It comes from that. And it's a network run by people who have plausible deniability. There's no way to actually, and that's the thing too, there's no way to prove it. They're all independent contractors, and the people who are running it, they get to claim ignorance and say, oh, we didn't know. Yeah, that's how bureaucracies work. That's how bureaucracies function. It's done on purpose. They're leveraging that. And if you know how to leverage this kind of stuff, you're actually very powerful, assuming anybody understands what the hell you're talking about, and most people don't. But suffice it to say, that's why you're seeing so much of that. Because, dude, I saw, he's like, why are these inbred hillbillies rolling down the street, shredding the tires? Like, companies can't, let me be very clear here. All those inbred hillbillies that used to drive trucks, yeah, they can't afford those guys anymore. Companies can't afford those guys. The inbred hillbillies that actually knew the job, those guys quit like 5 years ago. Okay, the only people that are left are people who own their equipment. Right, like, and that actually, in other words, the guys that not only own the equipment but also drive it as well. Those are the only guys that are left as far as your inbred hillbillies. Not that I'm inbred, or a hillbilly. Although my dad was a carny, so running the Tilt-A-Whirl, and that's how he met my mom. True story. Anyway, that's I'm just telling you that's how it works. That's how all this plays out. So, and it's just going to get worse, not better. Is because the country, or corporate America, not the country, but corporate America needs, and banking America and government America needs progressively cheaper and cheaper labor to cover up the inflation that they're causing with the currency. They can't have wages increase, because if domestic wages increases, then they know for a fact you will start paying off debt, and they can't have you paying off debt. They cannot, for reasons that are a completely different video.